Hello guys, welcome back to another market review. Today's June the 22nd. So, um, let's start off this market review with Dixie, right? Um, DXY. Let me remove these drawings I had. So, I think we're due for some dollar bounce, some dollar strength. Um, you know, short USD is quite a crowded trade, so it is, in my opinion, a matter of time before we see a significant bounce here. But that's more on the positioning side and macro. Um, just looking at the technical analysis aspect of it, we've been in a significant downtrend since since the beginning of this year. And Euro USD is up into resistance and is already rejecting from there. The pound and the UK has shown some deteriorating data on the economy and jobs, and the pound has performed really bad this week. It dropped more than euro did. So I think there are some good reasons why you'd want to consider longing the dollar. Um, yeah, there's also the uncertainty about Iran and the Third World War and shit, and oil has been strong as of late, and the dollar is usually correlated directly to oil. And now, when we come to the DXY chart, we have this downtrend, which I mark out with a trend line. And in my opinion, we've broken that trend line, which uh, in with all these context signals that we are due for a bounce in dollar. We've deviated, okay, above. We've broken out of the trend line, deviated inside, right, and it has acted as support now. So I think there's a very clear trigger next week on DXY. If it reclaims this level, I think you target here, then here, and this. Sorry, this is your invalidation right here. It's decent risk reward in my opinion. Very decent. Around 3R. But this would be like a hard validation. If it reclaims and holds above, you get retest and you get long. You wouldn't want daily or H4 closes below this level, 98.95, more or less, right? So you could essentially trim it to something like this. And any close below, you get out. You don't need for price to come all the way here. This is just a practical stop in case the market does something crazy. But I do think this is what happens, and I actually think that you could long at the start of the week right here, but with hard invalidation and not even wait for the reclaim. But this is the safer option is to wait for the reclaim. Um, so that's the Dixie chart, and let's jump into Euro USD. Yeah, let me get rid of this is quite a mess. Yeah, well, just looking at the daily, and yeah, last week we had some significant reaction. Oh, sorry, this was from 2 weeks ago, right? Yes, this was on Monday. Okay, but yeah, even on Monday we had a significant rejection from this daily SR level that comes from 2022. This is very significant. This is why I've been hesitant to long Euro USD at this level, because I do think that we are going to see higher Euro USD a year from now. We could see Euro USD at um, I don't know, 125 maybe, like 10% or 15% up from where it's right now. And there's good reasons for that. I'm not a big macro guy, but um, the current Fed is not going to last long. And 6 months, I think there's going to be a replacement, and they're going to be the new administration, the new Fed is going to be more in line with the current administration, and the current administration is hoping for rate cuts, but uh, current chairman Jerome Powell is not aligned with that. They want to remain a bit hawkish, um, and in my opinion, for a good reason, because the rate cuts will spark inflation again, and we'll probably see gold trade way higher and the dollar drop. So Dixie maybe in the 90 level, low 90s for sure. But that's a year from now, right? And we need to worry a week and 2 weeks ahead. That's why I do these reviews every single week for the week ahead. So very hesitant to long at this level, because this level really opens the gate for 120. In my opinion, if you break this level, 120 is your next target, and very confident that Euro USD trades there, but that's not the case right now. So um, as I've stated, I'm bullish dollar, and lucky for us, the Euro USD is trading quite into significant levels of SR. If we drop into the H1 time frame, on Friday had a reaction from this SR level, and coming into next week, I think we need to remove this weekly open, and we'll mark the new one when the week starts and play around that. But I wouldn't bet on the week starting like this. Maybe it does, I don't know, maybe it gaps. That's actually a good scenario, because Euro USD tends to close all the gaps on Sunday open or Monday open, whatever you are based. So if it if it opened like here, and this was a gap and you open around here, you could be very confident to short this, or maybe this, if it deviates and you're pretty sure that it closes the gap. There's some nice stats around that. EURUSD tends to close all the Sunday gaps. Um, but yeah, actually, I think we can use this H1 level as our main resistance. I think that, if one of my triggers for shorts in EURUSD, and I think my first target would be here, and second target would be around here. Um, if I get a retest into this level and it closes below, then yeah, I'm shorting it, and I'm not taking anything until this level. But there's a nice fractal here. At this drop, up candle, resistance, drop, uh, up candle, drop. Um, so that's why I think that, if price was to trade into this level, I think you actually think you can fade it. You can put your short limits there, because if we're aiming for at least this is already good risk reward. Yeah, I think that, of course, you wouldn't have any confirmation. You would be entering blindly, right? But you could, maybe enter small, and when you get your confirmation, add more. That would be a way to play it. But I really think this is the play. And so yeah, this is my bias for the week, is remaining short. But I also think that there's of course some good places to look for longs on EURUSD, and I'd be quite surprised if we don't get a bounce from this H4 level, because it was a clear level of SR, and it offered many resistance instances. So it would make sense that you could get a bounce here before dropping, right? And then you might just want to start looking for longs at this H4 or the monthly open, right? But yeah, this is like the shorts in here is like the preferred play, and the one you could hold for the whole week. Playing a bounce here is like intraday. I wouldn't hold this for more than 24 hours. I wouldn't. But yeah, and yeah, honestly, th this is quite far, but um, I think the monthly open is going to be an interesting level, because it would be kind of weird to change the monthly uh, direction in the last week of the month. So yeah, I think that, if you write a short from here to the monthly open, you can call it a week and a month, and just wait for the new month, and then you you mark the new monthly open and try to play maybe a movement to the upside, but yeah, I really wouldn't try like to position for longs on at the last week of the month because there's some volatility and unexpected behavior from the market. So if I get a clear uh, long signal around here or here, I play it, but just as bounces on this week, intraday, not intra-week. Intra-week only for shorts. And yeah, that's my view on USD. Don't overcomplicate it. No need. Let's look at the pound, right? Pound has been way weaker with the data. I also forgot to mention that the COT data on Euro USD, GBP USD was quite skewed to the bullish side. So now with oil rallying and um, yeah, mainly with oil rallying and it rejecting from resistance, it all comes together and it was time for some positioning unwind. And the pound with all the uh, horrendous data that's been released last week has performed. Uh, it's been much weaker than euro. So it is my preferred short, honestly. But when it's already performed worse last week, maybe that positioning has already adjusted and it might not be weaker this week than euro, and maybe euro takes the lead on the weakness. Does make sense? It, it does to me, so that's what matters. But yeah, I do think that um, well, where is some price? Where's some level where I'd be interested? Yeah, I'm just thinking that you know um, this level here where it rejected on Friday is such a good level to show, but let's look at the higher time frames and see. Daily maybe. Let's remove all the drawings. Yeah. Well, I actually don't know what to say. Um, well, just looking at this daily candle, I'm not sure that next week we get a significant reversal on the pound. Um, I mean, my preferred trigger, the monthly open has been a key SI level, um, resistance, support, and now it's broken below. So I don't know what to expect really from the pound. Um, I wouldn't rule out another run of this high, this Friday high. Um, I mean, I wish it came here because I was sure the fucker all the way, and it would be such a great show, but I just don't think it does. I just wait, see how it behaves on Monday. Um, just as long as it's sitting below the monthly open, I just because maybe all you get is something like this, right? And it just breaks down and it's shit. So that could be one scenario. I don't want to long this. I really don't want to long this until we are, yeah, around here is where I'd look for longs on the pound. Maybe thinking that the um, correction has ended. I do think that, just like with Euro USD, you can play intraday longs if you get a clear signal. As for bounces, like you know, here and here, you get some good moves. You can bank those moves. So I think you can get the same from here, bounce from here to here, then continuation. But yeah, I guess I'll just let the pound play on Monday and see what we get. But I mainly see two scenarios: either run off this high and just fade it, or maybe you just get an attempt here, but it's a deviation and you close below, and this is your validation, and you short it, something like this. Oops. You can get pretty decent risk to reward there. Um, but yeah, bearish bias, and really let's see how it behaves. But yeah, I'm just struggling to see a scenario where the pound bounces significantly, because on Friday the behavior was really volatile. It dropped all of this. I think it turned positive on the day, and both Euro, USD, and pound were positive here, but then the pound faded and the euro sort of rallied, and euro closed positive and the pound closed negative. Yeah. Yes, and also, I wish we got some move into this area right here, because this drop was so inefficient, and it's easier to get a move into this area. I wish, man. I would I would short it there, but yeah. Let's see. So yeah, my main scenario is to. So I don't know if I would be confident to short this if it sort of deviates it on Monday, and you look for expansion. I don't know, man. Let me check instead, in case there's some uh, data release. Yeah, we got something on Monday for both euro and the pound, and Tuesday for this. Yeah, we could have some volatility, but I'm not expecting. We don't have FOMC or USD CPY, which really moved the market. So let's see. Man, I wish I just wish we got a spike into this level early in the week and then you just trend the rest of the week. But maybe you can just assume that this is the high of the week, right? Let's see. I think we'll let Monday unfold and adjust from there. Let's look at oil. Um, yeah, it bounced from level I mapped out, reclaimed another level, and it rallied, but it went sideways on Friday. So currently on oil, um, let's look at the weekly. Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that um, my oil analysis is going to be really simple. I just think that if you get a drop into this level, you spit it and play continuation higher. Um, because I don't think this is distribution. I think this is just price resting a bit after this huge leg up and momentum shift, right? And maybe at the start of the week we get some continuation on this. We get some sideways, right? A drop, and then next leg higher. Because this trend line is not gonna hold forever, and I don't know if there's going to be any form of escalation, but um, I'm also not as confident on playing longs as I was here or here. Because it's already rallied. So now you're also up to you're now open to the fact that the daily range and volatility has increased on oil. So you have to be more careful than when it was the 60 or 50 price area. But this is a clear level of SR and a discount in my opinion, if you believe that, and I believe that it's going to trade higher. Um, so I would bet on that. But even even if you treat this as a range, right? A drop here and you play it into these highs, it's a good trade. It is a good trade. If you think that 71 and is a range low and 76 is the range high, could be a great short. I mean, a great trade, a great long. But yeah, I don't see a reason to short this yet. Just because if it start going up, I'm not gonna call this the top and start shorting it. But think you have to remain bullish until proven otherwise. Um, and you know, even if he decided to come down, this is a level of SR, and you could play a bounce, even if it, you know, became a downtrend and you get continuation lower. You can make money on this leg, this bounce. So yeah, just mainly bidding. My plan with the US oil is just bidding the retest of SR levels, and yeah, that's my analysis. Because if I was to bet on the direction of the week, I'm not too sure, really, and the market is not sure as well. This is an indecisive weekly candle. Yeah. So, but you know, you have to be cautious around here, because you could be long in the top, right? Because people here were calling for a breakout. It's like people here and people here, and then they face 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of a downtrend. But I do think that this is a different kind of move. You know, we've never had this kind of retest in these up moves in a downtrend. So, you know, I still think that before calling for a top on oil, I would need to see it here. Then I'd be considering that, okay, this is really, really extended. Maybe it's time to start looking to fade it. That's the thing with oil, right? When it rallies, it really does, and it can leave you behind, and it really doesn't care. Let me look at oil through different lenses. Yeah, not too clear for me, but yeah, this is the main plan. Long this level. Let me check which is the next chart we should review. Gold. Okay, let's review gold. Last week, gold was trading at these highs, right? And I was thinking that it was going to bounce from this level, and it did not. Instead, it just chopped the whole week. So volatility has really died on gold, and I would like to play a chart that looks like this. I would really like to see volatility pick up, because really, thank God I didn't take a long here, because I would, you know, wasted all my mental capital with this chop. Really, it's this is deteriorating. Yeah, I could just say that it is up into resistance, and if we are betting that the US dollar is going to strengthen next week and maybe next 2 weeks, gold could drop, right? Just like on Euro USD and I think the pound USD, the monthly open remains a good level to play longs, and I'd be quite surprised to see both euro and gold end the month below the monthly open. Uh, so yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Because for me, gold right now is in no man's land. Because yeah, you could try short it here, thinking that it's gonna come down. As you know, it's showing signs of weakness. It's rejecting from this SR level, not able to close above. So I do think that maybe, you know, if it trades into this level, rejects, and it also rejects from this level and closes below, then you can maybe short it somewhere around here with a practical invalidation around there, and I would trade it into the 3000 level, and I'm out, totally out. Because you could also play the long, right? Typical reclaim and trade it into this level, but yeah, I'm not too confident because I really don't like the price action here. So, you know, if price trades into this level, I don't know, man. I'm just not too sure, and I'm also not sure if shorting gold is the best option if you're betting on dollar strength for a good reason. Um, with this war volatility, um, you know, any increase on the aggression could be bullish for gold. So just have to watch out that fact. So I remain sort of neutral. Just make this plan and analyze it in case if it plays out next week. But I'm not expecting volatility on gold. So no volatility, no play for me. So yeah, I have to review all these markets, but and make plans for it for every single market, but doesn't mean I'll play this. You know, I'd much rather show pound or euro against the dollar than gold. So let's jump to silver, and silver has done. It was such a weird week, man, because last week I shared a plan that I wanted to build a long on a retest of this area, as it's a pattern that's already played out uh, um, earlier on silver, 2024, 2023, after a significant SR zone has been breached. So the week has been really, really weird because it just chopped on Tuesday, rallied, distributed, sold off into the weekly open, and then sold off and closed negative. But still, we didn't reach this level, right? So I'm not trying to um, play Silva unless we get a breach into this level and reclaim, and then we're good to go. Because it's not clear to me, and if it's not clear, I'm not playing it. I'm not playing this. I'm playing this, right? So yeah, man, maybe this dollar bullishness can get us the entry we want. And the market has been really, really weird because normally, when gold rallied, silver used to rally with it. But this week, on Tuesday, gold was pure chop, and silver was not affected by it. Instead, it rallied when gold was chopping its way down. Yeah, I mean, silver corrected and closed the week negative. So maybe it caught up to gold as it's following it. But these correlations, they don't always, they come and go, they change. So I'm trying to not get confused by them. So yeah, man, I'm not interested in longing unless we get some sort of spike down and reclaim of this significant level, which I must remind you guys, it comes from 2012, and just look at how clean these highs are. And this is the pattern I was referring to. Breach, retest, go. Breach, I'm looking for the retest and go. Just like here, go. We just maybe we get some weeks of sideways price action before it it's just ready. So let's be patient. We have to be patient with it. Yeah. Let's look at another chart. Oxygen, man, I hate this chart because I'm one of the worst gen traders of the world, but we have to do it. So I think there's good fundamentals to be short gen. Um, Again, I think it does make sense to be bullish Oxygen because we broke this channel, had the capitulation move down, and now it's been ranging. It could be a signal of, and I think it's signaling a shift in momentum, and maybe we see this over the next months. I think my strategy with Oxygen is to buy significant dips, just like this one was a great gift. Drop into the monthly open. It offered a 220 pips bounce. So I think, if you get a drop into this level, you could try long it, but I'm not too sure. I I wouldn't want to short it. I'd much rather just wait for dips, good looking dips with structures that suggest longing because we're making higher highs, you know. So you just join the trend. That's my guess on Oxygen, but um, have to see how the week unfolds. Um, there was no retest of the weekly open last week, but maybe next week we get a drop. I'd say, imagine the week opens around here and you get a drop and then you trade above it. Maybe you can call for an extension to the upside. If you don't want to, blindly bid a drop at the start of the week, which I think the odds are on the long side. We also have the monthly open really close. So just like with euro and gold and the pound, I wouldn't bet on a month changing direction on the last week. But who knows what might happen. This being the last week of the month, you may not get expansion, and instead of all you get is, all you get for the remaining week is this. Who knows, right? This is the end of the month right here. This is July. So, man, we really have to wait, because I don't see it really, not really clear. And gem pairs, they're not my favorite, so unless I see it really clear, I much rather not waste much time on it. So let's jump into the next one I want to review, which is Euro JPY. With this one, I do think I have a trade. This is just some tests I was running, but Eurogen has performed really well. And where's the monthly open, man? What kind of monthly open is this? This is a weekly open. It's around here. Yeah, this is the monthly open. Okay. And this was last week's open. Okay. So these black lines, they are SR levels, which I cannot share how I've mapped out. It's a deep state secret. But all you need to know, and we're going to look at, this was clear resistance, bridge, hold, break down, trade into the weekly open, bounce, right? And it's hardly giving any pullbacks since, Friday. It was up only session. And I've noticed something when an instrument closes the wick extended in either direction, in this case to the upside, right? Euro Yen is not um, up into a significant resistance, right? Because all this is thin air. This is inefficient, and real resistance, I think, is here at the 170, 171 level. Yes, maybe around here. Um, I do think that, when what I was saying is that when a market starts a week really extended, just like it happened with gold, it started last week around here. You may bet that any move in the in this direction, if gold is extended to the upside and into resistance, if it starts the week moving up, that might be the high of the week, and all you see next is a downtrend, and you have all the expansion to the downside of the week to capture. So I'm just thinking the same with Eurogen, and if it rallies more into this level, I think you can make a reasonable bet that that might be the high of the week, and you can maybe short it to the at least into this is like the mid of this range, right? This is SR, this level here. So that is my play on Eurogen. Of course, you could try to play the longs, but it's not a clear play for me, right? My preferred long situation would be either here, just like with the short. I was speaking about this shorting, but yeah, let's wait and see how the weeks are. But this is my my preferred situation. This is short into this level, short from this level. But it might start the week just correcting, because it's a bit extended. But if it went up there, I think you could capture a nice and fast move down, especially because it's been pretty one-sided week, no, with hardly any pullbacks. So yeah, these are my bets. And let's look at USD Gen. Um, hmm, yeah, I like this chart. Hmm. I think it's going to be a positive week for USD Gen. And you can expect something like this. If it starts the week with a down move, I think this area is a SAR, and so you should see some bullishness. Maybe you can play the longs to the upside. But yeah, I'm not, with Gen charts and Gen pairs, I'm not, my accuracy is not that great. And cannot define triggers as cleanly as I do with uh, euro and pound against USD. But that's what I see, man. I just see a bullish week for USD Gen, and it matches what I think in general for the week, which is bullish dollar and um, relative or neutral bias on Gen. So let's jump into some of my favorite charts with Euro AUD and Euro New Zealand. Well, Euro New Zealand has performed really, really well. It broke this channel and it's used it as support here, which was resistance, 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 and it's a huge area for support close to the monthly open, and it offered a 280 pip bounce. So sorry. So hmm. I think that if price was to come into this level, you could play longs safely. Use type of structures uh, which offer a breakout. They do uh, offer significant bounces when they are retested, especially the way it broke out this inefficiency, right? It's a good place, great place to look for longs, but it's quite far from current price. I think that one could also say that this was some form of a SAR, and prices rallied and broke above, and longs here should offer bounces, right? But I wouldn't be so sure. Um, hmm. Yeah. Well, maybe now I'm a bit more confident in playing longs. I mean, my general idea with Euro New Zealand and Euro AUDs is we trend higher because of this pattern which was up, consolidation, up, consolidation, and price. It's not consolidation, but price came into the origin of this leg up, right? And now it's making high highs, right? So unless I see a short setup, which I'm not at the moment, I think it does make more sense to remain long biased on the Euro New Zealand. These are the two levels of SR that I found for this week. So I place something like this on Euro New Zealand. This should hold. If it doesn't hold, this level doesn't hold, and you get close below, I think the next area to look for longs is here. And from here, if price was to trade from here, then I think it does set up for a great long, because this is just an intraday type of long right here. I'd be very quick to get out, but down here, I think you should expect a bigger move. So let's jump into Euro AUD. Well, let me first draw something here. Yeah, now sometimes with these channels I try to see where if there's a line that is attracting price, because it might give me an idea of where it might want to go next. So I saw that with Euro AUD. I think this soft channel is a line of attraction. Yeah, man, Euro AUD was really clean as well. It dropped from this channel. Dropped into the monthly open. And then it offered a nice bounce. This level of SR should hold if we want to trade higher, but just like with Euro New Zealand, I'm seeing two places to look for longs, and this is the first one, and around here is the second one. Yeah. I also like to look at AUD USD. Yeah, I think next week we might not be a trending week. We might instead just get some sort of range bound price action. I'm not expecting a leg like this on either Euro New Zealand or Euro AUD. Just looking at where AUD, USD, and New Zealand USD are, and this is a plan. This drawing is a plan that I mapped out last week, but didn't play out. It's going to play out this week. AUD has been really choppy, and it's not been clear to trade against USD, my opinion. But it's now going to trade into the monthly open. And if it bounces from the monthly open, basically betting that Euro AUD is going to drop. So I'll try to time them. If I'm going to play longs on Euro AUD, I'll try to time it with where AUD USD is. Right, because I'm not gonna look for longs on Euro AUD when AUD USD is here and holding the level. New Zealand USD is already trading into the monthly open, and it's a bit scary. This is a bit scary because it looks like it could breach and end around here, or maybe even come all the way here. This leg up to the origin of this leg up. So yeah, maybe it does make more sense to be bullish Euro New Zealand than Euro AUD, and in my opinion, Euro New Zealand looks cleaner than Euro AUD on the long side, and it also behaved better if you look at Euro New Zealand. It did double bottom with equal lows, and Euro AUD did not have equal bottoms. It was sort of downtrend bottom, so that signals New Zealand weakness. So yeah, maybe New Zealand USD does something like this and then just breaches down, and that's when you get your entry long on Euro New Zealand and next leg higher. Because the New Zealand USD is going to drop from here. It does make sense to raise the target on Euro New Zealand, betting on some extra New Zealand weakness. But we have to see how the week starts, and New Zealand tends to overshoot and not be as clean on the levels as AUD. So that's a fact. But yeah, these are my plans, man. I entertain longs on Euro New Zealand rather than Euro AUD. But we have to see, because you know the week starts and price action tells you everything you need to know, and everything might change on Monday or Tuesday, and suddenly AUD is much weaker than New Zealand, right? And New Zealand becomes the reserve currency of the world, overtakes the dollar and gold. So let's keep an open mind. Right, let's go to USD CAD. I think it goes up, but I'm not too sure. Let's reclaim this key level, but especially this level, it's left it behind. And yeah, I think you should expect something like this, but I'm not gonna trade this because it's not a clean pair for me. I just like to look at it, see if I can find something, but I don't like the way Canadian moves. I cannot understand it. What I can understand is the Swiss franc, and I think it's in a interesting spot because it we look at the weekly, it's you know, trading at these lows, and really who's going to short here? Have to ask that question. I don't think anybody is interested in shorting um, the sorry, USD, I guess, against the Swiss franc around here. This looks like a double bottom. Sort of reminds me of oil, you know, around here. So the Swiss franc might be around here, right? Kind of similar, isn't it? Um, what's important to me is I mapped out this daily SR level around here, and you can see it was support, clearly breached down on this date, and next thing you guys an attempt here, which market didn't manage to close above or barely did, and the next few days you get closes above. I think this signals strength, and especially if you look at the H4, you can see this more clearly how there was an SR level here that was breached, retested, and then we move on to this another SR level, daily level, and we are closing daily candles above here. Yeah, we get some H4 closes, but I think they're noise. And with this bullish USD bias and view that I've built for next week and maybe next 2 weeks, I think that we're going to see some unwinding of positioning and pound, euro, and Swiss franc against the USD. This is a level I think that the USD is going to hit, and this is my second target, and around here would be my third target. So let's see, man, because the Swiss franc is at an interesting position right now. I think they are um, they have rates at 0% right now, and they dropped from 0.25% rates to zero, and they signal hawkish. It was a hawkish cut because it was what the market expected, and they threatened with intervention instead of additional rate cuts in case the Swiss franc strengthen, because they don't want uh, negative rates, and they also don't want strong Swiss franc. So I just wonder, just like with the yen, the market forces the intervention. Yen is deteriorating, and you see USD/JPY climbing, and then they do intervention and it drops like this. So I'm just wondering whether the market is going to force the SNB to intervention, and you're going to get, some of these moves. I know you bought some form by intervention, just like happened with the Gen at the 150, 160 level, or whether intervention is not needed and we get a leg higher, because I think there's a clear divergence in policy. The SNB has 0% interest rates as of now, and the Fed is hawkish, holding rates. They do not discard a rate hike, but it's not on the horizon, so they're just holding. And rate cuts, I think they're expected when the new Fed chairman arrives, which is in 6 months. So with that divergence in policy, I think that it makes sense to aim higher on USD Swiss franc. But yeah, man, we'll keep an open mind. I'm swing long at this level, um, targeting this with a hard stop around here. But if I get a daily close below, I will cut it. So I will take something like this. But I'm looking to build mainly long USD exposure on euro and pound. But yeah, I've liked the way that the USD Swiss has behaved. It's been really strong, which I think signals more strength next week if we see general USD strength and main currencies weakness. So that's my plan. And last chart I wanted to cover was Bitcoin. Oh shit, it's breaking down. Well, let's see. Yeah, man. Ooh, this doesn't look good. Well, I'm thinking of two plays right now. Um, hmm. You know the way it's looking right now. This level is resistance, and of course, it doesn't make sense to short here. But if by any chance you get this move and retest, you short it. I think. Um, but yeah, man. It could just drop, and I don't know where it's gonna stop really. Um, think this cluster right here should hold, but it's such a big box, and man, let's look at the weekly. Hmm. I'd like to say that 92 is the 93, 92 is the last line in the sand. for longs, because I really don't see anything clear in terms of longing around here. Yeah, maybe you get a bounce for continuation, but if I were to bet on decent longs, it would be around here, honestly, and maybe you can play a bounce into this level. And but I think that the momentum with Bitcoin has really shifted, and um, the whole crypto space might be due for I think it's going to be range bound summer. Yeah, maybe you get some moves around here. I think that honestly, gun to my head, something like this is we're going to get. It's some range and fuckery around this area until September, October. Um, the market can build momentum again and finally break the all-time high. So for my strategy and trading knowledge, I don't see any clear triggers around here. Um, I mean, it would be as easy as say, the price come around here, then it does make sense to look for longs around here. Yeah, of course, it's at a discount. And of course, that makes sense to look for shorts around here because it's at a premium, right? If you get a range formed here. But I'm gonna sit this one out and watch it unfold because with crypto, I just don't see as many plays, especially intra-week. Um, it was clear to me to short around here. So when it's at extreme levels, it's very clear or apparent to me. But it's when it is intra-week and in small ranges, I just don't see any place, and much rather wait for when I see big opportunities and then really try to figure out a trigger to get in and see a nice candle, nice direction move. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this one here and really wait and see how it unfolds, because I don't have a clue on what is going on here. See, this is a clear sell level. This is that's why I was saying around here was the last line in the sand. So just as I was saying, I didn't have any clue on how to play this. That makes sense to look for longs here, but I think you expect some range bound price action unless you break lower, and then you are fucked because you're open to 80s, low 80s. So let me look at this again. This, it's like the light bulb has just turned on. Trade into this level, you short into here. If you trace around here, you look for some shift in this structure and form of drawing your validation, and then you look for longs. But yeah, I cannot think about how I would long here until I get price here, because I need candles to be able to define my risk. So this is it. I think it's going to be a negative week for Bitcoin. Yeah, but we'll see. See you guys next week.